Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a bobcat. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the bottom left side, draw another circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. First, make 4 small marks to indicate the sides of the circle, and then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. This circle should be about twice the size as the head circle. Don't overlap the head circle as you draw this circle. To the left, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Make this circle slightly smaller than the circle for the front part of the body. Don't place the body circles too close together or the torso will be too short. Inside the head circle, draw a curved horizontal line. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top half of the head, draw a small vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom half of the head, draw a small circle as a guide for the muzzle. Pay attention to the size of this circle in relation to the head. The top edge of this circle should touch the horizontal construction guide. On top of the head, draw 2 small triangular shapes as guides for the ears. Use the construction lines as guides to help you position the ears on the head. The ears should be big in relation to the head. Under the front part of the body, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the line at the top to indicate a joint and again at the bottom for the foot. To the right, draw a similar line as a guide for the other front leg. Under the circle on the left, draw another long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the line a couple of times in the middle to indicate the joints. At the bottom, bend the line to the right to indicate the foot. To the right, draw a similar line as a guide for the other hind leg. Connect the head to the body using short sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. The shape of the neck should be wide. Connect the body circles using horizontal lines to finish the guide for the torso. The bottom line should slope down slightly on the right side. On the left side of the body, draw a short curved line as a guide for the small tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch 2 small circles for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. Pay attention to how big the eyes are in relation to the head. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the shapes. Make the tops of the eyes flatter than the initial circles. As you darken the shapes, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eyes. The inner corners of the eyes should point down toward the muzzle. The outer corners of the eyes should point toward the ears. Make the lines for the eyes thick and dark. Inside each eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for highlights. In the middle of each eye, draw a small circle for the pupils. Shade in the pupils but don't overlap the tiny highlight circles. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small square-like shape for the nose. Place the nose slightly higher than the center of the circle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. Use a wavy line to darken the top edge of the nose. On the sides of the nose, draw curved lines for the nostrils. Draw a short line between the nostrils. Make the bottom of the nose thin and pointy. Under the nose, lightly sketch a line that curves to the left for the first part of the mouth. To the right, draw another short curved line to finish the shape of the mouth. When you get the shape of the mouth right, darken the lines. Keep the shape of the mouth inside the circle. Extend the lines to the sides to finish the shape of the muzzle. Follow the path of the initial circle to create the sides of the muzzle. At the bottom, draw a series of short strokes to create the furry chin. Use the initial circle as a guide to create the shape of the muzzle. Use the triangular shapes on top of the head as guides to draw the ears. Darken the shapes of the triangles but make the lines wavier. On the tip of each ear, draw a series of short strokes for the ear's tufts. Draw a few more short strokes inside each shape for the ear's openings. Use the initial circle as a guide to draw the rest of the head. Darken the top edge of the circle but make the shape of the head flatter. Draw a series of short strokes along the sides of the initial circle to create the furry sides of the head. Make the sides of the head wider than the initial circle. Use longer strokes along the bottom part of the head for the longer fur. Follow the basic path of the circle as you draw the strokes for the fur. At the bottom, curve the path of the strokes up so that they end at the chin. Inside the head, draw a few more short strokes for a furry texture. Use the second line from the right that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part wide and gradually make the shape thinner toward the bottom. At the very bottom, curve the shape to the right to create the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Use a series of short strokes at the top for a furry texture. Curve the leg where the guide bends to create a joint. Make the front part of the foot curved. Inside the foot, draw a couple of short vertical lines to separate the toes. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part of the leg wider than the bottom. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Inside the foot, draw a couple of short curved lines for the toes. Use the angled line on the far left side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Make the top half of the leg wide and the bottom half thin. Curve the bottom part of the shape to the right to create the foot. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. Use short strokes at the top to create a furry texture. Inside the foot, draw a couple of curved lines to separate the toes. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Sketch the leg lightly around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Make the top part of the leg wide and the bottom thin. Bend the shape in the middle to create a joint. Make the foot curved and add a couple of short curved lines inside the shape for the toes. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Use a series of short strokes to create a furry texture. Make the strokes longer along the underside of the body. Don't overlap the legs that are on this side of the body as you draw the underside. Draw the shape of the small tail around the guide on the left side. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Use short strokes for a furry texture. Curve the shape of the tail along the path of the guideline. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use a dark value to shade the tips of the ears. Using a dark value, draw a few small stripes around the eyes. Leave the area around the eyes blank for the white fur. Draw rows of dots on the sides of the muzzle for the base of the whiskers. Draw bigger stripes on the sides of the head. Shade the rest of the head using a medium value. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Inside the head, the strokes radiate outward from the nose. Leave the muzzle and the bottom half of the head blank for the white fur. Shade the rest of the body using a medium value. Inside the body, use strokes that have mainly a horizontal orientation. Tilt the strokes so that they're more vertical inside the legs. Leave the chest and the underside of the body blank for the white fur. As you shade, separate each stroke a bit so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a furrier texture. Add a dark value throughout the body to create some shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Add spots on the coat using a dark value. Use short strokes as you draw the spots. Make the spots bigger on the body and smaller along the chest and legs. Add a few stripes on the tail using a dark value. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result, and that's it for the Bobcat. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.